Alright, good evening everybody. I'm back in the room to where I started around a little less than a year ago. Granted, I didn't do videos for most of 2014. It's eventually the origin of where it all happened. I'm back at home. I'm in Lamont, Illinois, around half hour southwest of Chicago, so back into the natural habitat and outside of Cardinals territory for once. I guess the only bad thing is I have to run into a lot of people I know. Regardless of that fact, the Cubs had a very good game today, and the fact that they beat the White Sox 10-7. We have quite a bit to talk about today, so I'm going to try and hurry through it and go through pretty much a basic. So I'm going to get to the box score and see things to point out. Tommy La Stella goes 2 for 4, scores 2 runs. Arizmendi Alcantara 1 for 2. He had the 2-run homer that put us up for good with a walk. He's looking good. He's hitting 269. So is Junior Lake, who went 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs. I give him a pretty good chance to make the big league team. Albert Almora goes 2 for 4. He had a run. He's hitting 381 this spring. Albert Almora, if he continues to perform into the regular season in the minors, is going to put pressure on the Chicago Cubs to give him some time in the major leagues. This is a guy that caught a lot of flack last year for not really being what everybody thought he was going to be, but he's making those adjustments. We have to realize just how talented Albert Almora is and how much of an impact he can play down the road. David Ross came through with a homer. That was really nice. Taylor Teagarden and Anthony Giansanti also added home runs in this game. Travis Wood was your starter. He went 4 1/3. He allowed 11 hits, 4 runs, struck 2 people out. Brian Schlitter ended up getting the win. I have my thoughts on this man. He still should not be on the team. He went inning and 2/3, allowed 2 hits and a run, and struck out 1. I feel like he's just getting too much playing time, and I do not think that he should make the team, especially when you got a guy like Phil Koch playing as well as he is. Jason Mott, who's looked great this spring training, pitches an inning. Gives up a walk, but that'd be it. Zach Rosscup struggled a bit. He went an inning, allowed 2 runs and 2 walks, but I still got my confidence in him. It'd be nice to have 2 lefties in the bullpen, which will come in the form of Zach Rosscup and Phil Koch. Moving on, other than that, there's clearly a lot of other things that are going on with the Cubs, which is why I kind of sped through the box score. I got 3 main things I want to talk about today. The first one being news that came out of Joe Maddon today, which is saying that John Lester has been scratched from his start tomorrow with a dead arm. That's always bad news. He's the ace of the staff. And, Madden said that it's not anything to worry about, but at the same time, there has to be concern. This is a guy that's 31 years old. You're looking for him to be your ace, not just for this year, but you signed him for $155 million for 6 years. This is a guy that's going to need consistent performance throughout his tenure with the Cubs. This is a guy that's won 2 World Series. It's been a proven postseason performer, and we're still confident. Madden said he's still confident that he'll be able to start on April 5th. But it's just a bit of a concern because this is a guy that really defined the Cubs offseason along with Joe Maddon himself. So hopefully it's nothing major. I'll be bringing updates on that. John Lester had a pretty bad start his last time out, so maybe this had something to do with it. If he just gets his rest time and is able to recover a bit, hopefully he'll be fine. So hopefully it's nothing to worry about, and we'll just see what happens there. Another thing out there that I want to talk about is Javier Baez. Baez did not play in this game, and there's reasons for that. Javier Baez is hitting 100. He went 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts yesterday. And, I've kind of had a love-hate relationship with the guy. First of all, Javier Baez is an incredible baseball player. This is a guy to where if he makes contact, he has one of the most ruthless swings I've ever seen. And he can connect. If he can hit 230, 240, this is a guy that can hit 40 to 50 home runs. But when he's not making contact at all, when he's struggling and he's not finding his stride, this is where the concern comes in. This is not the top 10 Javier Baez that we've known of. This is not the guy that you want to build your franchise around because there's just so much doubt. So there's a lot of suggestions that are going around. It's becoming highly likely that Javier Baez does not start the year at Wrigley Field, which is absolutely fine with me. It's a guy that's 22 years old. You get him more work. It seemed to work out when he was working with Manny Ramirez last year. I want to see more of that. They'll really give him a better opportunity to mature and work on his swing. You know, you see a lot that he does a lot of this, just like Gary Sheffield. That's who he's been compared to. But maybe that's not the swing for him. And in comparison, we remember what Anthony Rizzo would do in 2012 and 2013, where he kind of stood with a very relaxed stance. And in 2014, he completely evolved into this very intimidating hitter in the batter's box, a guy that was on his knees and waving his bat. And that translated to 32 jacks. So this is a situation to where he's 22 years old, so you can't give up on him. But it's getting to the point where if you see a trade opportunity, we're still talking about Cole Hamels being a possibility. Maybe Javier Baez is somebody that you want to package in that deal. I'm not a big fan of giving up on the guy. I'm not a big fan of trading him yet, because sometimes it's very simple adjustments that can change somebody's career or at least change a season. Starlin Castro and Anthony Rizzo made adjustments. Albert Almora's been making adjustments. Arizmendi Alcantara, Junior Lake, these are all guys that are adjusting the way they play. Junior Lake's not striking out as much. Arizmendi Alcantara's, not getting, he's not running into the loopholes that are in his swing. He's being able to have more of a complete swing, and the guy has power behind, his small frame. So these are all things that Javier Baez has to work on. He's, a lot more in shape than he was last year, but he's just got to, make sure that he uses his bat speed to his advantage and find a better way to make contact, because, when you're waving your bat back and forth, maybe that's not what he has to do. Maybe that's contributing to late swings, because we know that if he connects, there's a very good chance it goes out of the ballpark. But if he doesn't, you're risking a lot of things there. So just a little bit on that. I'm not one to give up on Javier Baez yet, but you have to entertain the idea that maybe he's a trade candidate just because of how many people the Cubs have. Another little brief point of suggestion is Chris Bryant. Brief point of discussion is Chris Bryant. Chris Bryant's a top prospect in baseball, and the guy's incredible. I didn't mention this in yesterday's video, but he had a home run in an unofficial B game. Cubs and the Angels got together. They played a game. I'm actually unaware of who won, but I know Chris Bryant hit a home run in it, but he didn't play today. And, he has his shoulder fatigue, and that's bad because, it's very hard to recover from a shoulder injury. We see the elbows you can recover from. You get Tommy John surgery. We saw Kerry Wood got it. He recovered. Steven Strasburg as of recent. You can recover from an elbow injury, but shoulder injury can really be detrimental. It's ruined careers of guys like Mark Pryor. And you really don't want to see that happen. Even though I'm bringing up pitchers, it's the same thing with hitters, especially when you have a guy that has such a beautiful swing. So no cause for concern yet, but it's come to my attention, and I really wouldn't want to see anything bad happen, so especially when the season hasn't started yet. So hopefully that can be addressed and that can be taken care of, and Chris Bryant can be able to become the player that we know he is. And he's still doing it with shoulder fatigue, so just imagine if he gets everything straightened out. That's all I have for today. I am back in Chicagoland. I'll be bringing videos again for you tomorrow. I don't believe the Cubs have a game tomorrow. I could be wrong. I'll have a video nonetheless. Make sure you like the page and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. I apologize for the YouTube uploading issues. That was something that was going on back at school. Hopefully I can straighten it out here. Other than that, keep your hope from Clark and Addison, because we beat the White Sox today. That's all I have for you today, and I'll be back tomorrow, Cubs fans.